100% correlation to opportunity in 2024 is how you produce content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snap, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, period. It is the actual answer to the quiz. What I'm trying to understand is, I kind of think you know that. So why are you not doing it? Because the excuse of I can't afford it, yes you can. All of you in this room buy dumb shit. Order ever in your life from Seamless or Uber Eats? Dumb shit. Ever taken Uber? Dumb shit. Have clothes with a logo on it? Dumb shit. If, on those three things, let me throw one more out there, buy a $6 hot beverage? Dumb shit. All the things I just mentioned are not dumb shit if you're good, but they are very dumb shit if you're not good. And it's a really fucking funny game, momentum, because the more not good you are, the more you're buying clothes with logos on it. Because you need a quick little hit of feeling good for a second. This is one big game of two very simple energies. When I say one big game, life. Life is one big game of two energies. Self-esteem and insecurity. And we all fit somewhere from the extremes on both. And it is such a big deal. Because let me tell you about extreme insecurity. It's actually one of the ways that people use that energy to actually amass financial success. They're so deeply insecure, they go for it at all costs. And they figure it out. The problem is, the people that I've seen climb the mountain with deep insecurity and get there financially can't sustain it. Because if you're dark, you're dark. The other side that gets there is called gratitude. That's the other fuel. You're just so fucking grateful for what you have. Think about this. No bullshit. Like, do this for me, please, just for a second. If you can, for just fucking 30 seconds with me on this one. Think about how much energy in a day, in a week, in a month, you spend on what you don't have versus how much energy you spend on being grateful for what you have. It is so out of whack. It just is. And here's why. This is gonna give you the insight, especially for the people in this room. We're in America. It's too much prosperity. World wars used to reset us. The Depression, like the 20s, they were fucking balling. But the Depression reset us. You were just happy you had a little fucking porridge. We just have had it too good for too long that we're fucking confused. And so I believe that the majority of you in here's highest value of accomplishing a business goal, if this is a business conference, is actually based on your perspective. Because the answer to selling more real estate or t-shirts or whatever the fuck you do is content on social networks. Of course there's other shit, but that is the easiest, and I hate that word, but I'm gonna use it. That is the easiest way for good shit to happen. And so we have to leave this conference finding a way to produce more. I'm gonna go back to some tactics now that I think I've done my job to establish perspective. I really want to talk about documenting versus creating. So okay, you're hype now. You're like, you know what? Fuck it, Gary's right, this is my year. Right? Cool, you're like, you know what? I've heard it enough, yes. Now the problem is tomorrow. And you're trying to figure out what to make, right? One of the reasons I love this concept of documenting, not creating, is I'm concerned that you don't know what to make. Which is why I love live streaming so much. And I'm talking about live streaming like go live at your desk while you're working and have 3 people watching at first. And like while you're on your laptop, like look over and be like, hey. I'm being serious. But notice what I'm saying. I want everyone to hear this. What I just said is the content equivalent to the first day you ever go into the gym after not being in shape for 30 years, and you just get on a treadmill and you go super slow. My first workout 10 years ago, Mike Vacanti and I were joking about it the other day. I did 8 atrocious push-ups. I never built muscle before. That's all I could do. If you're sitting here today and you've done like 2 half-ass efforts at making content on the internet and you decide to live stream, you're just maybe gonna be able to eke out a hey. But I can do a lot more in the gym 10 years later. I just need you to know it's gonna be hard. And I just need you to know that that's good. Because everyone's saying, but what about this person? What about them? Yes, they actually executed when I was yelling at all of you 4.5 years ago to go on TikTok, but you didn't fucking listen, did you? And so they listened, they executed, and it worked for them. Sorry that you didn't. That has nothing to do with you. Just because a couple people went viral fast, that has nothing to do with you. And more importantly, the question is, what do you want to accomplish out of this? I assume, again, that this is the context of a business conference. I assume you want to grow your business. You can't sell anyone anything unless you have their attention. If you go into the bathroom right now in a stall by yourself and start trying to sell something, you're not gonna sell anything. You're by yourself. You have to have someone's attention to be able to sell to someone. The shocking percentage of our customers' attention now sit on these 8 platforms, on these devices. It's stunning. And the opportunity is real. The problem is it's hard. And most people give up. And most people don't know what to say. But all you should say is what you know. Let me give you some tactics. How many people know what a green screen video is? There's like the headline you talk over. Just raise your hands, please. Great, so for the ones that don't know, if you've seen on TikTok or Facebook, it's like a human, and in the background there's like clearly a clip from like a newspaper article or something. Like, it is training wheels for all of you. If you're struggling to figure out how to make content in your business or your interest or your genre, Google real estate, sneakers, mortgages, insurance, apparel, protein vitamins. I don't know what you do. Google it. Go to Google News. Look at the news. Find an article with a headline that makes sense to you that you have a thought on, because I'd like to think you have a thought on the fucking business you're in. What do I do? Talk about what you fucking know. Take a screenshot of it. If you don't know how to do a green screen on social media, like some of you are thinking right now, good news, I'll tell you how to do that. There's a site called Google. You type in, how do I make a green screen video? Enter. They will tell you, for free. And start doing it. Everybody here can do green screen. Everyone here can do green screen. And it, by the way, as we sit here today, maybe not in 6 months, maybe not in 3 years, but as we sit here today, a green screen video will get more organic reach than a normal video on most platforms. All social media is about is an acronym that I call PAC, platforms and culture. You have to know how a platform works. Does a reel versus a main feed post video work better on Instagram and Facebook? Or does a picture work better? Should you do a picture and then a video? Should you do a 2-minute video or a 30-second video? What should the thumbnail look like? What's the first 3 seconds of a video look like? What's your copy? It takes skill. You should spend time at night. Again, how many people would like to grow this year? Raise your hand. Great. Idea. Instead of at night watching dumb shit, why don't you consume information on how to be better at making content on social networks? You can, And this goes back to like what I see in my feed. Instead of watching the news, whose job is to scare you. Or watching fucking, I don't know, like Blind Marriage Millionaire, what the fuck you watch? People literally complaining about their lives, but watching 3 fucking hours of Temptation Island. I get it, you're escaping. The same shit we do with drugs and alcohol, I understand. Or logos, I get escapism. I just don't want you to escape your life, I want you to enjoy your life.
What advice could you give her like right now in terms of, hey, you can take the risk and don't have that parental guilt?
That if Zandy spoke to 70, 80, 90-year-old people, not named me, and not someone who is her grandfather or mother, a non-relative.
Yeah.
That if she spent if she's had 5 conversations with anyone who's 80 years old and asked them about life, the number one thing she would extract is you don't want to live life for regret.
Absolutely.
The thing I always said to Zandy is if you quit now working at Miller or Nike in Johannesburg or Cape Town, wherever you are, and it doesn't work out, this dream that you have that's making you want to jump. Well, good news. You can always go and work for Procter & Gamble or Unilever or Kraft.
Yeah.
The thing that people that tend to be stuck in a corporate environment don't understand is that the world has done a very effective job to tell you that you having a gap in your resume is bad at a time when having a gap in your resume is good.
Yes, exactly. Because resumes are supposed to, or we say CVs back home, right? CVs need to look a certain way.
That's right.
I was saying to him, like, I started out as a DJ, and then I was like, I cannot be a 40-year-old DJ. And I took that and made it into a CV. I still, to this day, even for my latest job, they were like, what's that gap? But I made it a positive story.
Well, that's right. And more importantly, like, the world's changing. This company, we've never required a college degree. I have no clue where these 2 gentlemen went to college. Did you go to college, Justin?
Oops.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even cross my mind.
It's a non-factor.
And so the world's moving, and so if you play your life by yesterday's rules, you're in trouble.
Absolutely.
You're better off playing your life on today's rules with an eye towards tomorrow's rules. And so what I would tell Zandy and anybody else is either you won't do it and you'll regret it your whole life, or you will do it. It'll either go phenomenal and be the great gift, or you'll lose and at least you tried, and now you can go back to a job.
And you know the fun thing is when you go back, because I did a stint in entrepreneurship, it actually just makes you smarter to handle your P&L, 100%. Right? Because you're like, I handle the risk on my own.
Yeah, a lot of people are being humbled in the last 10 years of not being capable of being entrepreneurs. And that's okay. I was with a creator today at an event who has amassed millions and millions of followers through ice cream and viral ice cream. He thought like, oh, let me go build an ice cream store too. He realized he couldn't. And so now he's back to doing full time, and that's great.
That's great.
That's not a loss. That's not a scarlet letter.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, it's going to make people realize that entrepreneurs who could pull it off, it's a very small, rare talent.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I'm special for that. That's like an athlete or a singer or an art. Like everyone has different skills, and so I would say that if it's burning inside of you and you want to try, you must, because regret is the ultimate poison in life. I want to remind people, you're in control.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important and appropriate, and I appreciate, especially being very cordial for people to ask and things of that nature, but I want to remind people they're in control.
Yeah.
I want to provide value and put out things in my professional career. I'm incredibly private and feel that the world is entitled to what you give it. So when I watch people get upset when people get into their business, I'm like, you're giving them your business. By the way, you're leveraging your business. I don't want to leverage nor give my personal life to the world. I don't think that's the right way, by the way. I just think it's my way. So the reason I have a little bit to what you're referring to is it became not sustainable because it's been a long time, and I was in a transit, it was the appropriate time. And I needed to just get some context out there, but it's not where I'm gonna go.
And that's what I was more interested by. To me, it's not.
Listen, us being together, my brain goes into maximize the value at the highest levels because we have the opportunity to for as many people are listening. The takeaway there from my perspective is you're in control.
Yeah.
You have a learning disability and you want to share it, mazel tov. You don't? Great.
Yeah.
It took me back to something less serious. It took me 15 years of public life to say I'm not candorous. And it's hurt me in my personal life and it's hurt me in my business life. You get to share what you want to share.
Yeah.
And I think people should be careful of what they share.
Yes.
You share your abs as you're a good shaped dude, people are gonna talk about your body for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you did that.
Yeah.
You're gonna show your kid all the time, they're gonna talk about that. Relationship, they're gonna talk. You're giving the world permission.
Yeah.
I prefer not to give the world permission because that's a sacred place for me.
Yeah.
You know, even look at my mom. She, like, the greatest gift I could give to the world is my mom to the world. The greatest. She's alpha me. She's more experienced. She's a different perspective. As a mom, she doesn't want it. The end. Right? I thought my dad and mom would be reverse. My dad, I never thought would love the limelight so much. But, you know, so I think if you're listening right now, please, if you're not going on social media because you have a skeleton in your closet, you have a disease, you have a bad, you know, situation, you're like me and like grew up in a family where like personal life is private. That's, I think, you know, in Russia, that was like, people would go to jail if anybody knew anything about you. So I think it ingrained in my parents, which then ingrained in me and my sister and brother, like we're private that way. You know, I think you have to understand you're in control. Facebook and TikTok and podcasts and YouTube don't make you do anything.
Yeah.
They don't make you do anything.
I'm so glad you addressed that because I think and this is why I brought it up, I think there's been a mask of false vulnerability that's been encouraged because of social media. So people think that the more vulnerable or more open you are, that shows authenticity.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I love you for that. Right? You're going to a very smart place. Yeah. I would argue I see more lack of authenticity in the way that people are leveraging their family and personal life because they know it does well. I think the lack of accountability is leading to so much unhappiness. Mm-hmm. Like life is so much better when you're like, this was my fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in control.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, this was like a wrap up to control. You're in control. Yeah. You decide what you consume. You decide what you believe. You decide who you surround yourself with. You decide what you put out. Take on accountability. Yeah. Everybody wants to blame right now. Yeah, the algorithm, they're acting as the algorithms are like hypnosis. Mm-hmm. And I understand endorphin hits and all that, but like you can delete the app. Mm-hmm. You can. Like, where's accountability in this? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we have alcohol, we have tobacco, we have drugs, we have weapons, and we have all sorts of issues, but most people play within moderation. That's on you.
Yeah. And it's a tough truth, right? It's a tough truth. It's a tough truth.
Especially when you're unhappy.
Yeah, yeah.
That goes back to why it's important. It's like the chicken and egg. It's like working out. Like, I got into better shape the last 8 years. Nothing comes less natural to me.
Yeah, tell me.
Nothing comes less natural to me.
I can relate to you.
Right? Yeah. But like, I was like, I just would like to live longer.
Yes.
I would just like to live longer.
They're sitting there and they're like, oh, I just feel like I do not include culture. But here's you. Every single week you're putting yourself out there. Any words of advice for the brand managers that just feel I can't keep up with culture and the insights?
That there's no choice. You know, when I hear people say, well, I can't keep up with another platform as a creator. Like, Gary, I don't want to post on these. Like, all you're doing is you're limiting your upside. Absolutely. And I think the reason most brand marketing is very bad is because I do think that most brand managers and CMOs live in ivory towers and boardrooms and have no idea what's actually happening to their consumer and are more worried about their customer, meaning the retailer that sells their stuff, than the customer that buys it from that retailer.
Exactly. Joe's Tavern and not, Chaba that's buying the Casa Light.
That's right. And so for me, the reason I'm always able to win historically, or why I get a hard time from the establishment, is because I don't think about anything but the consumer. Yeah. I don't know how to. How could you possibly do that? Yeah. Why would you do that?
Exactly.
That's the ultimate goal. Like you say, what's a good marketer? Like you reverse engineer backwards. Yeah. The goal is for someone to buy your stuff. If you don't understand what's interesting to them, the biggest issue with professors in marketing is they speak in theory versus reality.
Absolutely.
Of course, reach and
not market context as well, because MENA is different to the rest of Africa.
Of course. All I think that matters is relevance. Yeah. It's why the point you just made, forget about Europe versus Africa versus America. I'm talking about Manhattan. This is a small island.
Yeah.
Do you understand how different the people that live up there, that's the Upper East Side, are than the people who live down there?
can I say the
Tribeca.
joke? We
This is
figured
like
that out.
this is not just America. This is
Yes.
not even New York State.
Yeah.
This is not even New York City. This
Yeah.
is little Manhattan.
Yeah.
And literally 20-minute walk this way and 25-minute walk that way. It's like bizarro different parts of the world.
We're staying in Times Square, and we're just like, what is
Yeah,
Hudson
Times
Yards?
Square's not even New York. It's like a melting pot of tourism.
Exactly,
And so,
yeah.
I think marketers are looking for simplicity.
Got
Don't
it.
forget, a brand manager has a lot of responsibilities besides marketing.
Yo, I know.
They have supply chain.
Yeah.
They
Price
ha-
increase.
They have, which is real. They have retail relationship, distribution. They have to get along with the sales team. Like, I have a lot of empathy for everyone we're talking to on the call. That empathy doesn't allow me to look the other way
Got it.
when the last thing they are is consumer centric.
Absolutely. No, it's well said. And the thing I want to add in is the unconscious bias as well. Because so many times we'll have brand managers sit there, oh, I don't listen to Amapiano. Now every brand manager wants to book the biggest Amapiano DJ because it's cool now, you know?
That's right. Like that stuff I have never understood. I'll never forget, early in my career, I had a 65-year-old white male who was selling product to teenage, diverse Americans say to me, but Gary, I don't get YouTube. And I said, good news. We're not trying to sell this candy to you.
Yeah.
People buy shit to fill gaps.
Yeah.
Do you touch on that a little bit? Like why they buy a designer bag when they can't afford it, but they need it to peacock? They get the quick endorphin hit and then they need it to like signal to the world, like, no, I'm not a loser. I have a Chanel bag. Like, do you go there a little bit?
Yeah, I do.
And I'm not, like,
I do.
It's a book in itself.
Yeah.
But I'm curious on how much, if any, you touch on it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to say, I can't save, I can't invest. I'm like, you sure can. Like, don't buy the new iPhone every time it comes out.
Yeah. There is actually a phenomenon coined by Estee Lauder as the lipstick index. In that during times of financial downturn, you actually see the purchases and the revenue for companies that sell little treats.
That's right.
Tick up.
During the Great Depression,
People
makeup
bought perfume.
exploded.
Yep, exactly.
Little hits,
Little treat.
little treat.
Yep.
Not private planes, but just makeup. That was the luxury.
And when you can't afford the flat screen TV, much less the car, much less the home, a little hit will give you the dopamine that you need.
I am aware.
But it prevents you from getting to these bigger goals.
When you are really in debt and you are buying a $19 cocktail
Yeah.
at happy hour, there's that you've got to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
That constant Uber, seamless, Starbucks, it fucking adds up. And our society currently has decided that that's a necessity, not a luxury.
Yep. But I also address the flip side of that conversation.
I heard you.
So
I heard you, which I love.
the little stuff matters. It does
does.
add up. It's
Yep.
death by 1,000 paper cuts if
Yep.
you get a coffee every single day and you
Yep.
get the Uber every day, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But there's also a school of thought that says, make sure when you take the big swings, you are negotiating your ass off, because if you can get $50,000 off of the purchase price of your home,
It's $50,000.
that's 50 grand.
If you,
know
can
how
get
much you're gonna save
if you can get
avoiding coffee?
$7,000 more in your salary, it's $3,500 more. Well, actually, at my tax bracket, much more than that
Yes.
for the normal person.
Yes, and
100%.
it's so much easier to make more money or save big bucks when you're buying the big ticket items versus trying to nickel and dime yourself. Because I do think you're allowed to have a little treat, but to your point, if you have too many little treats too many days a week, it really can hold you back.
The way I think about finances is pretty interesting. I don't think about it from one, my whole life I've been able to make money. So, and I understand that that's a rare talent. I do. Like, most people aren't super gifted in making money. So I don't fear finances the way many do. At the same token, I don't put it for that reason probably, I don't love it either. So when I think about 5 or 10 years from now, it feels similar to now, which is I want to keep making money so I can keep reinvesting it and and keep giving myself opportunities to play. I'm not, I save money for a rainy day, but you don't need that much.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase, it's percentage I don't need that much by percentage of what I make because I'm not looking to live too big of a lifestyle. So I put some away, but for the most part, I use money to give myself opportunities to play business. It's like a game.
So kind of you against the lavish lifestyle?
Against the what, my friend?
Lavish lifestyle.
Lavish? Yeah, for me, it doesn't bring me pleasure. I don't want a boat, I don't want a fancy car, I don't want jewelry or art. But I don't judge other people. If you can afford it, do whatever the hell you want. Give it all away to charity, buy a $5 million painting. If you can afford, especially if you made it, if you made the money and you can afford it, you're my favorite person. Because then you can do whatever the hell you want with your money. I think, and by the way, if you inherit it, you inherited it, so you were in a fortunate situation. Obviously, I don't look at that the same way because I admire people who make it. But no, I do not. I'm unbelievably unimpressed with somebody who flaunts their money with things. I don't judge it, but it doesn't get me excited at all. I've never looked at anything and been impressed by it for its cost. I don't even know what things cost.
Yeah.
I don't, when I go to if I'm in, I think a lot about when I'm in Cannes for the marketing festival or if I'm in Beverly Hills for an event, or I remember I was somewhere, it was very fancy cars. I don't know what's a $500,000 car, what's a $5 car. It just, jewelry, forget about it. I have no idea, art, no clue. It's just not on my radar. No, I don't think about that at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay. Will you ever be retired?
No.
No.
I will never retire. I will 100% die actively working. 100%. There would be nothing that would make me more unhappy than to retire.
Okay.
Now I say that today at 43. Maybe at 97, I won't, but I don't think so because I think my mind would really struggle, Maybe my body will give out as I get closer to 100, but not with technology. I don't see it. No way. I like it too much.
So you encourage everybody to be productive all the time?
No. I encourage everybody to reverse engineer their hard wiring. I think a lot of people should work 9 to 5 and make $53,000 a year and live a great life. I think the problem is a lot of those people want to make $1 million and then feel stress instead of accepting what makes them happy. Yeah, I think people need to be productive in their way. And if that, there's somebody who's listening to this right now who can't wait to do nonprofit work all the time. And if they want to work until they're 50 and 55, 60, 65, and then do nonprofit work for 30 years, that's what makes them happy. But I started liking to work, and I'm gonna finish that way too. Give me a February 7th, 2024 hot take on anything financial that's got your attention.
Ooh.
And I'm not looking for you to predict something because that I think is silly.
Yeah.
I'm talking more like anything that's on your mind in the game of last year's, there's a presidential election and Biden may not win. And if Trump wins, this tax thing will change. And so if you've been thinking about something this year, that, or have you paid attention to this, or here's the reason that, or is there anything that you as a thinker of finances are hot on or that's kind of clever out there right now?
Yeah. You guys want to time travel?
Always.
You can still contribute to that Roth IRA and to your retirement accounts for last year, before the tax date.
Love.
And that way, you still can have it basically essentially count for last year.
Right, and a lot of people think that when 12/31 hits,
Actually,
it's
sorry,
over.
excuse me.
Please.
You can contribute to your IRA so that you can actually get a taxable benefit for last year's taxes versus this year having to be 2024. So you can time travel, and I think that's really good.
Yeah, because for a lot of people, they don't know how they're going to splurge, especially if they're working tight. They don't know what the holidays are going to look like. But now on February 7th, you got a little bit of a feel.
Yeah.
You're into the year a little bit. You know if you have job stability. or you never know, but like, of course, things like that. Go ahead.
And can I
see some,
make,
yeah, I see
and
you
can I make
go.
a prediction
Yeah,
that I
please.
can guarantee you comes true?
So you have a prediction that you're very hot on.
No,
100%.
I am
Okay,
certain.
Great. Well, good news. When it happens,
Yes.
we'll clip this. And if it doesn't happen, we'll definitely clip this.
Right. I will say you're going to be like, oh, well, that's like a soft prediction,
That's
but like
okay.
it's true.
That's okay.
So there's a current trend going on called loud budgeting. And I think that it is here to stay and it'll actually become a very pervasive thing in our communities. So for people who aren't chronically online, loud budgeting is essentially where it is now socially acceptable for you to talk about your financial goals with your friends and use them as an excuse to get out of social obligations, out of things that are going to cost money. So suddenly,
Transparency
yes,
and vulnerability
yes,
will lead to less discomfort in the long term, maybe a little bit on the upfront.
correct.
Which will allow you to not have to keep up with the Joneses and have the stigma, which will allow you to budget better.
Exactly. And I do think that with the next generation, we're just more honest.
100%.
Like,
In some ways.
we're not embarrassed.
In some ways, we're remarkably more
Worse,
honest, which is
yes,
why I love Gen
yes.
Z and Gen Alpha. In other ways, we're more clever.
Mm-hmm.
We're very I feel like I'm so part of it. I'm an old fucking dude compared to these kids, but I love these kids, but they're a little more clever. They're also good at PR.
Yes.
That they're outflanking some of their boomer parents and Gen Xers. But the reality is I see them. The hypocrisy is extraordinary. But you're right. There's a lot of things they're more vulnerable and transparent about, but they're also the lack of accountability and entitlement is a blind spot. And then we're talking general.
Yes.
But I agree with you. They're creating some incredible frameworks that are going to work for them. And I'm excited about that. I root for them heavy, especially Gen Alpha, because I love their cynicism towards Gen Z. These 10-year-olds are gangsters. I'm in a good place, and I've always been. Somebody said to me, Dustin and I were talking about this on Radio Row, like I was talking about something and the kid jumped in. It was awesome. He was like, yeah, but you've got money. I was like, yeah, but you only are saying that because you're seeing me today. I would argue in a lot of ways, all the stuff I believe in, I believed in even more and executed even more because now my time is being sucked into other things. Mm-hmm. But I was not more happy in my 20s. And I never made $100,000 in my 20s. It was just that I loved that I knew that I had more time. Time is my great passion. So in my 20s, I just knew like, man, I have another 80 years to do this. And that like brought me tremendous joy. As a matter of fact, the stuff that I spew online is just me talking to everyone about the conversations I have with myself. So when I'm out there saying you're 30 or 40 and you have lots of time, like I literally think like this way. I'm 48. I'm like, okay, 48, modern medicine. Like I should probably, God willing, nothing too crazy. I could get to 96. I feel confident in that. And I say to myself, crap, then I'm at halftime. Mm-hmm. And I blew it the first 20 years of my career because I was a kid and didn't have the opportunity to go all the way. So like, to me, that brings me joy. I actually am very concerned. This is real talk, very vulnerable. I am a hair concerned of what my psyche looks like in my late 70s, early 80s. I've loved the idea of all this room to create and build. And I do get a hair concerned that if I know there isn't a lot more time, how will that fuck with me? My hope, and I've gotten a little bit more I used to be very scared of this 10 years ago. Lately, now at 48 versus 38, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What's gonna happen is what I'm starting to feel. The more life you live, the more you're grateful for it, the more you've scratched certain itches. Mm-hmm. Even, it was so weird. This is crazy actually. Even this morning, walking to my car from my hotel room to come here, I had this weird thought of like how excited I'm gonna be to be a grandfather. Like how I'm gonna like not want to go to like some big business thing because I'm gonna wanna go to my granddaughter's recital. So, there's a part of me that's starting to get a little wiser about the concept of time. But boy, was like, I just have never seen money as the gateway to happiness. I've seen opportunity to build as the gateway to happiness. And I think that drives me, because I think no matter what financial or even emotional situation you're in, that optimism to you can turn it is very real. Because if you decide you can't, if someone's watching this and be like, fuck you, dude, like you don't know me. People have real shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, listen, I get it. But if you just decide to say it's never gonna happen for me, like it's over, fuck life, like I got unlucky, it's no, well then it is.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
How you see life is how it is. And so for me, no matter how shitty it is, my mom was born in the worst country in the world at the time, the Soviet Union. You couldn't leave, it was North Korea. She lost her mother at 5. Her dad goes to jail when she's 10 for 10 years. She has a shit life. She's the most optimistic, positive person I know.
What do you think created that optimism in her?
Her DNA and probably they talk a lot about, and I'm undereducated on this, I don't know this to be true or not, but boy, do people have a big belief that those first 3, 4, 5 years of your life, there's a lot going on there. And knowing how my mom and what she did for me in those first 5 years, my intuition is that her mom did that before she passed, and might have just got in that optimistic, nurturing love. And then DNA. Like I have siblings, I have children, like DNA is a real fucking thing. It is, it is what it is. And so I think, I don't know, I sit here and I'm just literally, as I look at that camera, I'm like, man, if one fucking person who watches this video, and millions will over the next decades, as you and I execute, this will be more interesting for people to watch in 20 and 30 years, is my intuition.
Yeah.
Man, if one fucking person leaves this saying, you know what, fuck this. Yes, I had pessimistic parents. Even I have pessimistic DNA, but Gary's right, fuck it. I will go to therapy. And like when people buy an $8,000 watch to make themselves feel better for a week, I'd rather them put that into a bunch of $250 therapy sessions over several years. Like, I just wish people knew that you're not alive for a long period of time and you're dead forever. And so you have this tiny window.
And you better,
Look, I was born in 1975. What year were you born?
83.
Great. 75 and 83. A lot happened prior to 75 and 83. And a lot is gonna happen after we're gone. To me, it's like, fuck, man, don't mail this in.
Yeah.
Because you're mailed in before and after. Don't mail in life. Because they're scared of judgment. Jeff, the difference between someone who goes and someone who doesn't is incredibly predicated on their self-esteem and insecurity framework. They don't want to go because it's easier to complain and tell everybody why everybody else got lucky because you're not doing anything.
You think the thought, what you're saying is the way others perceive me would control me that much that I would rather be in hell and unhappiness so I can be the victim and say it's because of this, this, and this, rather than have people judge my effort and be in the same position?
Yes, because fear is one of the most powerful currencies in the world. Most of the way that parents will parent their children between now and forever will be predicated on fear. Most people work for people when you and I, because of the way we're wired, we're like, why would you do that? Is because of fear. Fear is this is why Star Wars crushed it. The whole dark side and the Jedis is very, 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 very well done. And I'll tell you why. I believe optimism and fear are very close. That's why the world,
11 and 1?
They're just like this, like a thin line, just a thin line. And that's why the world works the way it works. There's a lot of fucked up shit. And there's a lot of amazing shit. And I think that the dark side, like you look at Darth Vader, he's such an important part. I literally think about the world through the lens of Darth Vader. Like, is even the way that he turns in the end of it's just like, this is how I see the world. Like when I see 90-year-olds apologize to their family for being not nice their whole time on their deathbed, it makes me think of Anakin and it makes me think of him. And that's how I see the world. And so, yes, I believe exactly what I just said. I think most people do most things because of outside validation. I feel like so much that has worked for me comes back when I was in my 30s and it started to get clear to me. I was like, that's why I was weird in high school. I was just like so utterly not penetratable with peer pressure. That's why I didn't drink. My mom asked me not to drink alcohol. I loved my mom so much that I wanted to do that for her. And even though pretty girls were like, come on, have a drink. And even though my buddies were like, you're a puss, like fucking drink. Like it just didn't fucking penetrate.
You never had a drink in high school?
No. And it never penetrated. And it just kind of like, I think like if you can deal with peer pressure in high school, I think you can deal with it for the rest of your life.
You sure?
I often say this is still all high school because it is for most people, you know? And so even this weekend in Vegas, what's going on with people? They're all peacocking. There was like people like upset they couldn't get into that table or that VIP room, as if it matters. Like, you mean the subjective opinion of some people you barely know is that you're not as cool as them? Who gives a fuck? I obviously got to a place in my career where I'm lucky and can get into certain things, but there are plenty of times where I can't.
Sure.
And I'm fine. Who gives a shit? If Jay-Z doesn't want to invite me to something, that makes sense to me. That doesn't hurt my feelings, right? Like, and people just walk around with crazy insecurities and audacity. Like, I've been to like events where I like see somebody roll up and they're like they're not known, they can't get into whatever this thing is, and they're like, yo, I got 80,000 followers on Instagram, and I just watched that, and I'm like, by the way, please don't do that anymore. It doesn't make you look good. Not with winners, at least. Like, what does that mean? Like, it's just so fucking high school. Who gives a shit how many followers you have? Who gives a shit if you have a blue check mark? Who gives a shit how much money you have? Really, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's true.
Like, I don't really know how much money anybody really has. I know what people try to perceive out there, but it's not gonna make me like or dislike Drew Brees anymore, right? Like, I don't understand what we're doing out here. So yes, I believe that most people are scared of other people's opinions, and it dictates all of their actions, all of that. You're talking about a person who's disproportionately benefited by the cool factor of entrepreneurship, but I don't want that. I appreciate it, like, as you can imagine, like coming on stage and getting this kind of love from the 20-year-old set, it's like something I could have never dreamed of. It feels remarkable, but I'm unbelievably passionate about over-communicating the shortcomings of an environment where entrepreneurship is cool. It's the same way that being a professional athlete and a rapper is cool. Very few people can actually achieve it at a heavy, high-level success. So two things are important to me. One, I want to redefine what a successful entrepreneurship path looks like. Like, if you make $136,000 a year on a business that you run, that you like doing around something you like, and you can live that lifestyle, that is a remarkable feat. But that is not the picture we're painting of a successful entrepreneur. We're painting private jets and islands and all sorts of fucking ludicrous shit, you know? And so, I think it's remarkable. I mean, we need a level set. The 1% earners in our country, one of the richest countries in the world, the bottom of the 1% make $420,000 a year. Yet, like, everybody starts the conversation of macro big success at $1 million. Like, we're twisted. And we also have to talk way more about happiness. We also have to talk about what it looks like to have a scarlet letter of an L when your company fails in a world where you've never had a public loss in your life because you've played through a school system. There's a lot of things that we have not addressed. There are a lot of people right now that are flossing on Instagram as entrepreneurs who are gonna go into deep depression or even suicide when they take a massive L on the next correction in our economy, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah, those are sort of pretty deep things to start with, but yeah, if you are, but you know, Gary dives right in. You know, if you know, in talking about mindset, and you're hitting it, we have one of the leading researchers on purpose-based identity as opposed to achievement-based identity, where people tie their self-esteem and their life to how, you know, results and success. You know, spoiler alert, you're not going to be happy. And so finding a purpose and aligning with your identity, that you're going to lead a much better life, you're going to be productive over a longer term, and you're probably not going to hit those low of lows that you talked about. I want to step back really quickly because you mentioned it, but I want to talk about a gear that you feel you have and why. And so for those of you who don't know your background, can you talk about your family, where you grew up and how you grew up?
I grew up really lucky in the fact that I had disproportionate adversity in the first decade of my life. I was born in Belarus. We came to the US when I was 3. I lived in a studio apartment with 8 family members. It was super immigrant, right? We didn't speak English. My dad, I didn't even know my dad until I was 14 years old and started working in his liquor store because he woke up to go to work before I woke up, and he got home after I fell asleep. I went on 1 family vacation in my entire life, or 2 in my entire high school life, both to Disney World in Orlando, stayed in a Holiday Inn. We kept it humble. We didn't buy dumb shit. I basically wore liquor t-shirts my whole life through high school because they were free from the liquor store. The level of humility and a lot of my ability to not worry about others was predicated on circumstance. And I really think that I'm the beneficiary of very good parenting and very lucky circumstances. And those lucky circumstances in my mind was I was never handed anything ever, ever. And I genuinely, when I hear stories in culture of people thinking people that are trust fund babies are lucky, I just don't see the world that way. I actually think they're disproportionately unlucky. It would be my great devastation to end up being my children or my grandchildren. I mean it. That's just the way I'm wired. It doesn't mean they're wrong or I'm right. It just means that for me, the way I turned out, the chemicals in my body, the thought of being handed something or starting with that kind of thing where my achievements would always be undermined because everybody would say that it was handed to me would be devastating. I grew up judging Bill Gates and Warren Buffett when I was younger of giving away their money because I grew up in an immigrant family where you help each other, and I judged them heavily, and I was super wrong because I had no context. I was like, that's crazy. To a charity? Like what? And now I understand. I want my kids to be happy, and I do not believe that disproportionately paying for their lifestyle puts them in a position to be happy. I really don't. I do not believe that. On the flip side, kids love to shit on their parents for doing that, but don't stop taking it.
You're gonna get lukewarm applause at USC for some of the kids here. Their parents are they're here with the parents.
It's a really important point. I've been talking a lot about. Look, I hate when people shit on millennials because the people that are shitting on the millennials are the one who fucking raised them. They're shitting on the byproduct of what they've created. On the flip side, when I say that, the kids love that and they hit me up on DM. They're like, yeah, fuck my mom, she gave me too much. I hate it. And I reply and I'm like, cool, dude, so give up unlimited Uber, asshole. Get off the fucking payroll if you're so fucking unhappy. But kids talk out of both sides of their mouth because they're hypocrites. Because they want to floss in front of their friends, but what they don't realize is the quickest way to happiness is to stop taking the money. But it's a lesson. It's a lesson that it's hard to learn as you're younger in that age. As you get older, you see it. It's super easy to learn. You just have to realize that it's true, and you have to start valuing the opinions of your friends. You have to start valuing it? Stop. Okay, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. I was like, that goes against everything that I think we're teaching. But and so why do you feel with your upbringing, and that's an advantage, why did you sort of always feel you actually told my class, I just feel you can't beat me, straight up. Why do you feel you have... That was fun. Yeah. Why do you feel you sort of have a gear? Is it because you really enjoy the process and the work? I don't think I do not think anybody who goes to college and studies entrepreneurship can beat me in entrepreneurship. That doesn't mean it's right. And it's just kind of how my brain works. I feel like it's a craft. I don't think I think of it as we have not defined entrepreneurship properly. Here's why. Again, I absolutely believe people that go to school for entrepreneurship can get better at entrepreneurship from that process. I desperately believe that entrepreneurship is a talent similar to singing and playing sports. And I think that I'm on that spectrum, and that gives me confidence in this one little narrow thing of entrepreneurship, because while everybody else was studying in school and like playing sports and doing whatever they were interested in, I was constantly entrepreneuring, right? And so I just have so much natural ability and so many years of practice that I feel like I'm on the extreme, and that's why I'm confident about it. And so, yeah, I mean, chip on shoulder, right?
No, and that's the only gear you've ever known, if that's what you've been hustling since you're a kid. You always look at what does a kid do when he or she's younger? Did she have a paper route? Did she hustle? You know, whatever it was. And you can tell when kids are on the right track.
And entrepreneurship is scary, and you have to fight against the system, and you have to see things others don't, and you have to challenge norms. And I quit school in 3rd grade. You know, like, I did. Like, it's super weird, but like, I started getting D's and F's in 4th grade. I consciously walked into 4th grade and said, I'm out. I did. And it was mainly because, for who knows why, and I really have no answer for this, but I just remember, I mean, 4th grade, you're a babe. I'm looking at like other, like, it's crazy to me that I actually had the thought process of, this isn't for me. I know who I am. I'm gonna be this, and I don't care about the periodic table.
Some people are. But we say, go find me a kid who really is in it to win it, and like bring us that person, even if she doesn't have perfect scores. Or
It's natural talent.
Yeah.
It's not even in it to win it. The SAT perfect kids are in it to win it. It's talent.
Yeah. So
that matters. Like, I'm in it to win it to be a fucking pro football quarterback. I'm fucking in it to win it. It's not gonna happen. And we do not have the proper context around entrepreneurship. Until we start understanding the level of talent involved in it, we will always undermine how difficult it is, because we think it's a process. And that doesn't mean, again, this is why underlining that, we have to contextualize how awesome it is. We have to start putting on a pedestal, starting a direct-to-consumer, jam business on Shopify, where you make $183,000 a year because you love making jam because you and your grandma made it, and like that being a massive success because you're happy as shit, and you can live your lifestyle and you live under the means of $183,000 a year. We have to put that on a pedestal. That is when entrepreneurship can hit its golden era. This notion now of everybody building the next Instagram is ludicrous talk. I'm telling all of you right now, the fear you have of your mom or dad's opinion, of your sibling's opinion, of your spouse's opinion, of the person you're dating's opinion, of the people that follow you on social media, of your neighbor, of anyone, like the fear of their opinion is the trap. And how do you get out of that? By first understanding, by agreeing with me, by sitting on the other side right now on a laptop or a phone and being like, in a very vulnerable state, saying, he's right. He's right. And once you understand that, it's game over. Yeah. What I mean by that is it's game on, meaning whether it is therapy or exercise or different ways of eating or listening to different content. One of the things that drives me crazy right now is I already know that fear is the enemy. And then most people right now are in their phones or on television just consuming fear. CNN and Fox do the same shit, people. They sell fear. Mm-hmm. They're just selling a different message of fear. A lot of people that are trying to sell you shit are selling fear.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't take this supplement, you're gonna die. Oh, fuck. Like it's fucking fear. And so, I think it's very clear to me that what can they do? They can be self-aware and vulnerable with themselves. I'm not even asking you to talk to anybody. Just talk to yourself. All I'm asking is for you to talk to yourself and say, how much truth is in this? And people don't realize that they've been doing it their whole life. This is why I hate the school system. Like, this whole A, B, C, D, F thing is crazy. Like, people just conform into getting an A, that short-term validation on something that means nothing. Mm-hmm. The amount of straight A students that I meet, happened 3 different conversations this weekend, that were like, yeah, I just knew how to get the A. I memorized it for the test and then I was out. I don't even remember anything. That wasn't learning. Mm-hmm. That was memorizing to conform to a system that doesn't match real life. That sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like this is one big game of self-esteem. This is why I tell parents, you're worried about your kids, create true self-esteem. That's why 8th place trophies fucked it up.
Yeah.
That was fake self-esteem. And those kids knew.
And we're seeing the result of that in today's world.
Massively. These parents told these kids, we don't think you're good enough, so we're just gonna reward all of you. There's nothing worse than a parent indicating that they don't think you're good enough. 8th place trophies.
Yep.
And the worst one, giving them money after they're an adult. For everybody who's got every parent right now, and I don't like giving parenting advice individually. I like doing it macro. Because individually there's a million dynamics, and I don't know you, and you don't know me, but macro. By far, the biggest observation I've had in the last decade of all the trillions of DMs that I read is that if you're 22 to 30 and your parents are giving you money, there's bad shit going on mentally. There's resentment by the parents. They don't realize what they're doing, but they're building resentment towards their child. And there's deep insecurity about the kid because their parents are saying to them, I so don't believe in you that I have to give you money. It's a big problem. Now, before all the kids go, yeah, fuck you, mom and dad, be a fucking grown up and stop taking the money. If you shit on your parents and you're over the age of 18, and I'll make it even easier for you. If you shit on your parents and you're over the age of 22 and they give you money, you're a fucking asshole. Straight talk. If you take money from your parents and you're over the age of 22, get their names out of your fucking mouth in any negative form. Kiss the ground they walk on. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't want them to have say? Stop taking the bag. Whoever pays for something has say. You don't want your parents to have say? Stop taking the fucking money. And don't do it cute. Like let them still pay for your Uber because it's on their credit card.
Or their cell phone.
Yeah, or you're on the fucking family plan. Get the fuck off the family plan.
Is Netflix okay?
No.
Okay.
Not even the shared fucking password, even though they shut that shit down. Good job, Netflix.
Yeah, good job.
That was such a rope-a-dope. Let us get us all into the sharing the passwords, and then we're just gonna cut it off.
Yeah, they gave you the
Like,
drug.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So
Netflix.
smart. So smart. Netflix, you fucking gangster.
I think there's two sides though. You did say the 8th place trophy is parents not believing in their kids, but
It was well-intended, the 8th place trophy. It was well-intended.
so with my kids, I never played with that.
Yeah.
I would tell them.
Me too.
Because I think it's more important that kids at that age learn how to lose and it doesn't break them. Because we're so fragile today. Everyone has this need to be offended and they can't handle adversity and losses because they've never had to learn it.
I know.
And adults don't learn shit.
No shit. Do you know there's college kids that are being tracked by their parents on their phones?
Like tracked or just still being shared?
No, tracked, like the fucking Find My Kid or whatever fucking app is, and it's just fucking fucked up. Like, we have fucking grown-ass children. Like, fucking kids used to go outside. Your parents had no fucking clue where you were. Now we're just in our kids' shit, and all these parents are hovering, and then all of a sudden, all these people at work, like, it's crazy. We fucking hover and smother and suffocate them, and then at work, we shit on all the 20-year-olds that come and work for us because they're not our kids. Meanwhile, our kids doing the same shit at another company. And it's all fucking bullshit. We need to fucking cut it out.
And we're seeing the results.
Yeah. And by the way, for all the kids that aren't that way, you should kiss your parents in the face. If you're a kid that your parents didn't smother you that way, but still loved you, it's not like they didn't give a shit. Well, guess what? Good news. You're about to kill all these softies. The fucking 22-year-old that's got a chip on their shoulder is about to I dismantled everybody growing up 22 to 40 that I was around, but a lot of them weren't coddled either.
Sure.
I was just more ridiculous. This new crew, if you're a 22-year-old and you got something and you have self-esteem and you're not scared of losing, you're about to fucking dominate.
Yes. You just summed it up. That getting over that fear of losing.
This goes back to judgment. This is why everyone's scared of judgment. Our parents taught us that losing's bad.
Yeah.
They taught us. They said, losing is so bad that we're gonna have to give you something. Fuck that shit. Man, I'll tell you, when my kids started playing sports, when I saw a kid cry, I would run over to him. I wouldn't even go to my kid. I'd run over to the kid that cried and be like, with the parents there, I'm like, you're the best. You're the best kid here. Good, cry more. That's a winner. If you care Do you understand that 8th place trophies created indifference? Do you know how dangerous indifference is? Do you know what the mindset of it doesn't matter means? If you're someone who says it doesn't matter, you're in a very dangerous spot.
Yeah.
Indifference is dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's what we taught these kids. We demonize competitiveness. A kid fucking cries and we're like, that's not good. Fuck you, parent. That's the best. Show me a kid that cries after losing a sports match when they're in 3rd grade. I'll show you someone who's gonna win in life. Period, end of story.
Michael Jordan cries when he won or lost because he cared.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I think pro athletes should cry. Pro athletes do cry.
They do.
I was at the game yesterday, but I'm sure, like, I saw in the AFC NFC Championship game, they zoom in, they're crying. It's called giving a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a game to you, loser parent. It's not a fucking game to me. This was my life. This fucking volleyball game in 4th grade was my fucking life. Fuck you, it's just a game. Everything's just a game. Fuck you.
But the kids who are
This
broke.
one's got me pissed.
No, it's good.
It's like, fuck you, it's just a
real.
game. It's not just a game. It's just not. Life's a game.
Well, it's all a game. It's just
all a fucking
pick
game.
your game.
The whole
whether
thing's a fucking simulation. It's a fuck. Everything's a game. Don't tell me it's just a game. You fucking modern parenting bullshit of sucking alphas, winning DNA out of them is a fucking problem. The biggest things that I'm thinking through is one thing that I asked Dan actually in the green room, like, talk to me about the, like the stock options, things like that. It's like owners. And I'm like, that's super interesting because I think that gets it really motivating really fast, right? Like, back to like people in the trenches real quick. I'm not want to make sure that people understand like the upside of that game. I think when things are on paper, like it's been, I'll tell you the story that most hit me when I understood the stock option play. I was like, Facebook was obviously my biggest win in my career, right? And last night, ironically, going through social, I got home late around midnight and I saw that the stock market had a big day. I tend to look at my portfolio once every 3 months. But I just happened to see like, oh, Dow Jones went off. I'm like, oh, let me look. And I saw that Facebook was at $400 a share. And immediately I got like the worst pit in my stomach, not for me. From the day I invested in Facebook 4 years before its IPO to this morning, I've never sold a share because I believed in the founder. Right, obviously I'm very aware of what people think about Zucks and the way the media's played it out, but as the guy driving it, I always told my whole family that the day he's out is the day I sell, but until he's out, I hold forever. The reason I'm bringing it up is what I'm most fascinated about 2024, what I'm most fascinated about every employee in here at this moment in the history of GoPuff's company as a complete outside observer who watches the game, is I'm fascinated by people's lack of patience. The reason I bring up this Facebook story to you this morning is because I was early at Facebook, because I made a video in 2007-06 that said Facebook should be worried about this new app called Twitter. And it went viral inside of Facebook and I got called to go give a speech. Check this out. The entire company of Facebook at the time when I gave my talk of why Twitter was gonna be a thing was half the size of this audience right now. It was early. I didn't even know Zucks was in the audience, back to how like weird and different he is. He was in the way back and I did my spiel. And in 2006, I said, social media is gonna win because it's human behavior. That's it. Like, the reason everybody wears the hat and the clothes they wear is to communicate to others. The reason we buy fancy cars is to communicate to others. Almost everything we do as humans is to communicate to others. Obviously with our mouths and the way we roll, but with subtle shit that you don't even realize. Every photo you ever posted on social is subconsciously something you're trying to say. Position yourself. Front at worst, or communicate your truth at best. And so that's how it is, and so I understood that. Anyway, that struck a chord, we hit it off, we had dinner, and I invested in Facebook very quickly after that, and I mean all of my savings. I bet the farm. The part about patience that I want to talk about in 2024 is about what happened next. 3 years later, it went public. Over those 3 years before it went public, I got to know a bunch of the top 100 execs. When the stock came out, some of you might remember this because you were youngsters, or it was a big moment. It opened at about $40 a share, 42. It went down to 19 pretty quickly. Most of the friends that I made in those 3 years that were top 300, 400, first 500 employees at Facebook sold somewhere between 25 and 19. They made a lot of money. The ones I knew were there super early and very senior. They made a lot. No, this story is not to cry for those motherfuckers. What's interesting is seeing them over the last 10 years. What's interesting for me is someone who got in for much less, much later. The fact that I'm gonna end up making more money on Facebook than a lot of those people fucks with me. And it was just one big game of lack of patience. And so I think what I'm most focused about in 2024 personally is thinking about that. How much of my decision making is based on tomorrow and how much is it for a year from now? You know what I love about retail? What I love about retail is the signature story that is still told in my dad's liquor store, even though I haven't been there day to day for a decade, is a story of December 18th in our store when I was the most important salesman on the floor. And it was snowing, and we had just done the internet thing for the last 4 or 5 years, and we got a phone call from a woman in Bergen County, New Jersey, who was not yelling at us. She was like, when I got on the phone, she sounded like fucking Yoda. She was like 1,000. But she was complaining that it was important for her to get, and this is a good one, especially for the Venmo crowd, her Behringer White Zinfandel. Rosé used to be sweet, for all of you that don't know, in America. Her Behringer White Zinfandel had not been delivered, and it was a whole to-do, and her son called and said, you don't understand, the FedEx that got delivered. Anyway, punchline is this. In one of our busiest days of the year, off of me learning about this while I was on the floor from the internet department, I ran downstairs to the warehouse, grabbed a 15-pack of Behringer White Zinfandel, threw it into my car and drove to Bergen County and delivered it personally and drove back and was off the floor for about 2 or 3 hours. During that time, many top dog customers came in, only willing to work with me, ready to spend $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on their collection, and left. When I got back, the core crew was like, what the fuck? What I knew then, and I did many things like this is the one I just get to tell on stage. What I knew then was actions have to set the tone for a culture. What I knew was I was gonna take an L in the short term on that day. But I felt that it would be something that everybody in the crew, especially because I knew I was looking to build long term, and the 20 people that were around me, I was hoping and played out, would be there for 10, 15 years. I needed something to point to for them to understand what our DNA was. Both on the corporate side and in the trenches here, I think we think too short term. The reason I tell that story is with the hope that one person decides, like, that makes sense. When I face something tomorrow, do I think about it from the short-term reality of it, or do I think about it as, is this an opportunity to set the tone for what we're trying to do? I think that kind of mentality of patience and brand building and culture building is everything. To me, for example, this event. With this event, when I was asked to do it back in the winter, I was so pumped that you were all gonna be together. I remember just thinking like, yes, that's exactly right. And I'm a businessman, and I'm paying attention. So I'm aware of what's macro going on with GoPuff, and they're trying to be strategic about what they spend their money on and not. And I'm like, good for them to understand this. Like, for example, what he just did was fucking phenomenal. I hope I dropped 3 or 4 things that make you think about something and maybe do something. This will be a good day of like content, I'm sure. But everything that happens on this stage today is bullshit compared to if you take advantage of all the downtime, all those minutes in between lunch break. I don't know what the fuck, you do lunch? their lunch. I don't eat lunch. I think it's a complete fucking waste of time. I think that the thing that I'm most thinking about of like, what's everyone in here thinking about? Like, how are they thinking about this year? I think perspective is a big focus of mine. I think that how one sees life is how it is, right? I've been very like weirded out by this whole half glass full, half glass empty thing. And that really struck me too as I thought about this talk. I'm like, just wondering how people are thinking about shit at GoPuff, right? Because for me, again, just to put into, actually, how many people here know very little about me or have no idea who the fuck I am? Just raise your hands real loud. All right, that fucking hurts. Let me actually, I thought that might be the case, so let me give you 3 seconds on this to set up what I was about to say. So real quick for everyone who just raised their hands, I was born in the Soviet Union, I immigrated to the US, we lived in Queens in a studio apartment with 8 family members. It was ghetto fucking, immigrant shit. Like, by the time I was 8, I realized my parents aren't buying me toys or video games, so I was fucking straight. Lemonade stands. Like when I was 7, because we moved to Edison, New Jersey, when I was 7, I literally tricked or manipulated or convinced or motivated my 6 best friends to stand behind lemonade stands all day long. And this group is way too young, but for the couple of you that are in your 40s or above, I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, we had something called big wheels. They were like that, you remember that shit? I used to ride my big wheels at like 5 p.m. during the summer. At the end of the day, I would ride my big wheels to the 6 lemonade stand locations that I created and picked up my money like I was fucking Tony Soprano. And then I went into baseball cards. I was making like $2,000 a weekend selling baseball cards in 7th and 8th grade in 1985. Like real talk, when you have $10,000 in cash under your bed and you're 11 and you're not selling weed, you're a fucking entrepreneur. And then, thank you. Then my dad ruined my life. I was making all this money and then I turned 14, oldest son, born in the old country. My dad went from a stock boy making $2 an hour in a liquor store to owning a small store in Springfield, New Jersey. And so merchant's son, like I had to go work there. And I went from making $1,000, $2,000 a weekend, selling baseball cards in the malls in New Jersey, being cool and fucking living, to making $2 an hour, working 14 hours a day in my dad's liquor store. And I mean every day. I don't know how many of you have a Soviet father, but it was like no bullshit. It was 14 hours a day, 7 hours in the basement bagging ice for the cooler and then coming up and stocking shelves. And that like became the foundation of my career. Then I realized people collected wine. And then in 1996, I launched one of the first e-commerce wine businesses in America called Wine Library. Blew up my dad's business, and that kind of is how my career took off. My dad really didn't, again, how many people here are immigrants, like their parents were born outside the US, or you have? Raise your hands. So you guys know, like, my dad didn't pay me shit. Even though I worked from 22 to 34 in that liquor store, I built that business from a $3 to a $75 million business, and I never got paid more than $80,000, $90,000 a year, even though I did all that. And so I had to go do my own thing. I believe the long tail of influence, personal brand, I believe every human is about to be the small business.
Yes.
Just like there's 8 trillion small businesses, not everyone becomes fucking Verizon and BMW.
Yeah.
But there's a trillion small businesses. I believe the small businessification of personal brand, the micro influencers, it's real as fuck.
And personal branding is
And so
critically
this is why
important.
when someone who's so inspiring and doing it says, I've got this flash in the pan, I got this 15 minutes, I like to jump in because I need these people listening, especially the million that will listen to this podcast over the next 12 months, to understand this is not a miracle. Mm-hmm. This is not far-fetched. The internet is at a scale now.
Yeah.
Distribution of information is in a place with social. Algorithms you could have never done what you did if TikTok wasn't around.
No.
I was there when Facebook and Twitter and YouTube was the case. You had to build a list and then people would see. It did take 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, one post.
You
because
can
of
be
the way,
viral. Because
Anyway.
of that explore page.
Go ahead. So
I end up quitting my job. I bank $100,000 in cash, and
Give you a
I'm
little
like, that's
time.
that's my
Nest
parachute
egg.
money.
Yep.
Didn't need it.
for
I
you.
end up crushing it, and last year I think the reported number what we actually collected was probably close to like 4 million
Makes
in terms
sense.
of revenue for the company.
Yep. What are the revenue streams?
So obviously we've got just the platforms paying us little to nothing.
Right.
Brand partnerships is a huge
Real
chunk.
thing. Yep.
Book advance, I got a pretty
Yep.
healthy advance.
Makes sense.
Podcast ads,
Yep.
great.
Makes sense.
I do quite a bit of speaking.
Love.
And then right now in the works, we're working on some TV stuff.
Good for you.
Yeah.
On the speaking part, just because I'm always business developing, you should definitely talk to Vayner speakers. You may be thrilled with who you're talking to, but we're really crushing.
I love that.
What's the book about, and why should everybody who's listening buy it? Because I genuinely, obviously we have some mutual friends, but I can't comprehend anyone listening to the last 20 minutes not realizing that you are wildly sharp as fuck and super capable. So I'm gonna assume, because I continue to, it's scary to me what I put in day trading attention for like $20. Like literally companies pay me $500,000 for an hour of what I put in this book for $20. I continue to believe now that books are like the weirdest, best deal in the world.
Yes.
Because people like ourselves don't want to write a shitty book because it's pride.
Yes.
And then thus rendering the content very valuable.
Yeah.
And the cost is nothing.
Correct.
So my intuition is that every person that listens to this podcast ever should buy it based on you. So I guess that's how I buy books, even though I don't buy books. That's how I would buy books because I don't read them, but that's how I would process if I was a reader. The hypocrisy of kids being mad at their parents when they're on the payroll blows my mind.
You can't.
If they pay, they have say.
And it's why I told my parents they could not
good. I agree.
contribute to my wedding.
Love.
Because I was like, you can't tell me which band to pick. You can't
Good for
tell me
you.
what appetizers, nothing.
It's a
nothing.
very real thing.
Yeah.
It's the best decision I made too when I
Yeah.
was a kid. And way too many people are such fucking hypocrites. They literally complain about their parents are involved and they meddle. And the only reason your parents have any leverage, besides you love them and you want to like,
Is the payroll.
is the payroll. Get off
Yeah.
the fucking payroll. So got it. You went to this great school. You were obviously a good student. You knew you wanted to be off the payroll and you wanted to have independence. And you're like, cool, finance also, if I crush, it can get real
lucrative, yeah.
And let me consider that. You get into a couple years and you just realize there was other things you wanted to scratch.
Not so much that,
No?
but you know, I think a lot of us joined.
Did you like it?
I did at the beginning. I
Makes
had
sense.
a really great mentor, a really great manager. You know, as Wall Street shakeups do happen, you know, the head of my desk ended up getting let go, brought in a completely new guy, fired half the team. So suddenly the team looks very different. Then I end up getting assigned to a new manager who
It didn't click.
it didn't click, but also he made some real nasty comments.
I
Things
see.
like, you're too girly to be here, and didn't like how my nails click-clacked on the keyboard, didn't like,
Oh, so like really went old school that way.
very old school, and like,
And you were
the-
like, fuck this shit.
yeah, like I shouldn't have to put up with that. Like I know how smart I am.
Yep.
I know what I can bring to the table. And like, that's the bare minimum, right? Like you
I
shouldn't say
agree.
shit like that to me
I
at
agree.
work.
So right, so you're
I'm
like,
out.
fuck you, I have options.
Yeah.
You decided the jeans, let me see what the BuzzFeed's
Yeah.
selling, this, that.
Yeah.
When you get there, a bunch of kids, and because you were in an environment that did have financial literacy, now you got a real look at the broader world. and you're
Everybody
like-
else.
And you're like, fuck, no one knows shit.
Nobody knows anything.
Right, and obviously, tongue in cheek, this is annoying, I'm getting asked a lot, let me make some videos for y'all. You also, because you were at BuzzFeed and because you're a human in society at this point, you knew that, and maybe some of this content will click and it may open up other opportunities and doors.
Not even. I
No.
really made this as like a, hey, this is gonna be like a fun little passion project my friends are gonna watch.
But you are smart enough to know.
yeah.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are making content of like fantasy sports and
Yeah.
like I can buy, but I can't buy, back to your point of like, fuck you, I have options, don't make fun of my clicking, that you had to know, and some of these may click and it may lead for things for me to think about.
I think
It had to be in the back of your
a
head.
tiny
You weren't
little
delusional.
Yes, a tiny piece of my mind was like, maybe my content goes amazingly viral and this can become something, but I certainly wasn't
There's a point that I'm
banking on this.
That I respect.
Yeah.
But I think it's the biggest point I want to make to the audience watching live on Twitch. By the way, podcast, if you want to watch these things live, twitch.tv/Garyvee, EE. But like the point I'm making is I believe it is, let me use an interesting term. I believe that it is grossly negligent as a human in society today to not post videos around your singular either knowledge base
Yeah.
or passion base.
Yeah.
I think it makes borderline no sense. I'm aware of insecurity and worried about what people look like, worried about negative comments, mental health. Like if you get, most people don't have enough self-esteem to deal with the no views, or I know why people don't do it.
Yeah.
But I believe it's insane.
There's just so much
to not
opportunity there.
Correct. And this window's real. And like the fact that like, I also think that people like things. People like Star Trek. People like the Avengers. People like wine. People like bourbon. People like cooking. People like
But here's
people
the
like
other
things.
thing.
Please.
There are influencers that are truly influencing, and their brand is themselves, which I think is so incredibly challenging. These are people like the Alex Earls, the Tinkses of the world. But for all the rest of us, I don't have to put every single personal detail about myself out there. To your point, knowledge-based or passion-based, it's such an easy way to get into this world that so many people, what is it, the stat is like students or children like 15 to 18 right now, like 50% of them want to be YouTubers. More. This is how you get it.
As a matter of fact, I think the people that are living their lives like reality TV will continue to decline because that is the hardest game.
Correct.
Once you give the world your life, you don't have one.
And it gets picked apart.
I am wildly out there for the last 17 years. For the last 17 years, I have posted on the internet every day.
Yeah.
I am out there. I have plenty of followers. I don't post anything about my personal life.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people think you have to go there.
Yeah.
I've never posted my children in my life. Mm-hmm. People don't realize you're in full control.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I wanted to rant on that is I just love that you had a knowledge base.
Yep.
You did some stuff, and here you are with like an iconic book. Like you have options now. Whether you want to, like, I just like optionality.
Yeah, agreed. It's freedom.
It's freedom.
Choice. The same reason why you want to have money. The same reason why you want to have.
How fast did the first when was the first? So you started posting where?
Yes.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
TikTok.
Okay.
First video, January 1st, 2021. First 7 hours, I think the video got 7 views. Then that night, I'm watching a movie with my now fiance, and my phone starts to get like hot. You know, like when your phone just starts to overheat.
My phone's always hot.
Right, exactly. Phone starts buzzing off the hook. Like, I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, that's weird. I have 7,000 followers. That's way more followers than I have on my personal Instagram. And like, I'm like, I don't even know if I know that many people.
So real talk, that's insane.
Yes.
Real talk, you're one of those people I talked about 6-7 years ago for TikTok that literally actually first video hit.
First video went viral.
And by the way, for everyone who's watching and listening, that game is not as real now.
No, it's not.
It's always supply and demand of attention, like I've talked about. This is why oh, by the way, let's do a plug. Day Trading Attention coming out this summer. This is the one, but this is the game. You were, back to your background.
Yeah.
You were day trading attention.
Correct.
So literally the first one hit. Do you understand you overvalue your sister's thought? Your mom's thought. You must make 2024 the year of accountability. If your mom is super negative and fucked you up, do not talk to her 8 times a day. Talk to her once every 8 days. I'm not saying cut your mom out. It's your mom. You came out of that shit. But if your mom is fucking poison and you're do you understand, besides that little dude and probably somebody else in here, you're fucking grown now. Make 2024 the year you stop complaining about the same shit. I got it. Your dad drank. Most dads drank back then. I got it. You fucked up and took the wrong job. You married the wrong girl. This fucking happened. Donnie fucking screwed you. I get it. And you're just fucking in it. We can't, like, dwelling is a disease. And this is gonna be a tough year. Like I said earlier, it's gonna be super negative out there. I am so not looking forward to this shit. These fucking politicians, as if they give a fuck. I love when you think they give a fuck. Promise. Stop feeding into the fucking bad shit. Focus on yourself, focus on your loved ones. Choose positivity. You have to understand, if you have decided to be cynical and negative, it is by default that, because you can find it. But if you choose to be positive and optimistic, you can find the 2 little kids helping the guy in the wheelchair shovel his driveway. You get to choose. Actually, you know what? I've never said this out loud. I just thought of it right here on the spot, so this is fucking good. Let's make a pledge to this. If this talk hits, if you feel like, fuck it, I'm ready to go, every single time you are in your feeds, if the post does not make you feel good, unfollow and mute that person. And then, after you're done with that, that's your day-to-day. That's what you now do. That's what you now do. Or, be careful, because sometimes it triggers you in a different way. If you find yourself over envious of someone, delete and mute them too. Because there's a lot of people that sell negativity in an interesting little package. They hide it as, I'm just trying to be aspirational. But posting pictures of yourselves on private planes all day, flexing Rolexes, is not bringing all of you a lot of value. Now, I'm not gonna blame those people. You're a big boy and big girl. Don't feel bad, feel happy for them. But if you're not there yet, mute that shit. Unfollow that shit. And then, when you're done with all that, the last thing you do before you go to bed in that feed is you go to search and you type in positivity. And you let the results pop up on that grid and you click a couple of things and you follow a couple people and like a couple of positive things. You will wake up on April Fool's Day with a much more positive life. Whoever in this room is able to cut out more negativity and bring in more positivity in 2024 will win. I'm gonna leave you with this. So we just broke that down. Now, in June, if you're still in a bad mood, that's on you. 2024 needs to be the year of accountability. The truth is, and this is tough, most people are most comfortable in dwelling in darkness. You know why? It's easy. Don't be that person. Misery fucking loves company. And there's a lot of people feeling this way because the lack of accountability has hit an all-time level. But there are millions of people who are thrilled and happy and living simple. And I want you to be one of those people. Because I don't know if you know this, you were not born for a very long time. And I don't know if you know this, but when you die, you're dead forever. And so we get to be here for a little period of time. Why the fuck are you not enjoying it? Listen to me. Doing the right thing is always the right thing. You're strong enough emotionally to deal with the subtle jabs, even though it hurts your heart.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're doing this for the kids, which is incredibly noble.
Yes.
I also think at some point, it's not against the idea of potentially reaching out to her and having dinner and really going there with her and telling her that you love her. And, you know, maybe that one conversation sparks her going to therapy or recognizing something in her. Like, I always think a last ditch effort with compassion, but candor, right? When you mix compassion with candor, right? When you're not attacking her, you're like, I love you, but this is shit. I think you'll always feel good when you're 92 that too many people cut people out or tell them to fuck themselves back. I think you go with compassion and candor, and it's something that you are grateful you did when you're 90 years old. You feel like you did it all that you could.
Right. Yes. Okay. I like that idea.
You know what I mean? Like, truly be like, listen, I'm not here to judge you. I'm empathetic to you. This is DNA and parenting and environment. I love you. We've been friends our whole lives, you know, but listen, this is really tough. And this is like tough on me. I find myself pulling away because the negativity is unbearable. Your kids, you know, I want to be there for them. I love them because I love you. Like, is there anything I can do to help you? Like, like, please, like, tell me, fuck you, fucking Darcy, you think you're better than me. I'm better than you. I just love you and I know what's happening. And then, because you know her, you're like, this is why Kevin doesn't talk to you anymore. This is why Rick broke up with you in college.
Right.
Like, but I'm here. I've been here and I don't want to disappear, but I can sustain this level of cynicism, negativity.
Right.
So like, what can I do for you right now to help? That level, that kind of delivery gives you a fighter's chance, a puncher's chance to maybe fix it.
Yes. And I'd like to help her because she's got such a damaged past in her life that I'd like to be a positive support, but she just puts so much on me that I can't, especially with everything in the world right now. I'm learning who is really super negative and who's going to come out positive, and we just choose to be positive. So it's hard to even hear any of this negativity. And
if you look at China, South Korea, even Italy in the last 24 hours, like if you look carefully, there's plenty to be positive about. We're all going to get through this.
Yeah.
And by the way, some people are going to lose jobs and some people are going to lose family members. Like it's tough. But
yeah,
like, some people look at the negative. I'm saying to friends like, hey, I know you're scared, but what if the corona thing didn't happen, you were living your normal life and today was the day that you were going to get hit by a car crossing the road and dying.
Right.
Everyone looks at the obvious negative instead of the not obvious negative. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. Somebody today stayed home and didn't do something that they would have done in real life that would have led to their death or unhappiness.
Right.
So
they didn't even know.
Correct. So anyway, listen to me.
Okay, listening.
Compassion and candor.
Okay. 2 good words.
I think so. And when you mix them together and and you come from a good place, which clearly you're coming from,
yes.
If nothing else, when you're 92, you would have done the best effort you could have. Do you understand that if you are looking forward to Friday, it's bad? I know this to be true because that's how I lived my life from 8 years old to 20. I looked forward to Friday because I hated Monday through Friday. Because I didn't give a fuck about Saturn or the periodic table or the fucking Dewey Decimal System. I like that recall. That was a good one. Remember that shit? If these kids, how old is that little man? 10. Brother, if you understood what the world was like pre-internet, it would blow your little fucking mind. Do you remember going to the mall because you told your friend you were gonna meet at the water fountain at 4:15, but for some reason their mom got caught up and they weren't there and you were like, fuck it, and you'd see them the next day at school? Like, shit was crazy. New kid came to school with a beeper, fucking narc. My friends, it's actually stunning how simple life can be if you're willing to make it simple. The problem is you have to stop impressing your mom, your dad, your spouse, your neighbor. Too many of you are living your life for other people's opinion. The real answer to the quiz of why you're not posting enough is you overvalue other people's opinions over your own happiness. I define success as waking up and being happy and being able to do what you want to do at all times.
Yeah, and as a parent, would you rather have your kids be successful or happy? That's an easy one, right?
It's super simple. And we are absolutely at an inflection point where there's people like me and different things happening where we're starting to have different conversations. Like freedom is what everybody's chasing, but they're confused about what it actually looks like. It's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. There's a lot of people who could be way more free if they didn't overextend themselves on what they're buying. Keeping up with the Joneses,
yeah,
it is the poison of our society. It is.
So that's your definition of success. What's the role of failure and why, again, putting myself
Micro failure in the process
Sorry?
are you asking me the role of failure in getting to success?
As part of it, if it's, is it related? Is it a necessary part? I'd put myself in a group of people who like, you know, you don't want to fail when you're younger. It's going to be embarrassing. You know, you've had all these successes. You've done well in school. You've done wrong. And to have a failure. And now, you know, I think that's the one thing at this point in my life. It's like, did I take enough risk? Did I put myself out there enough?
You definitely didn't.
What's that?
You definitely did not.
Yeah. How do you?
And here's how I know it. At least, again, one man's point of view, I'm not sure anybody is taking enough risk from 20 to 30. Yeah. It is the most interesting thing that I've been thinking about, which is it is never more practical to be disproportionately risky than from 22 to 30, yet everybody goes the other way because now they're the real world and it's time to prove something to their parents, to themselves, to everybody else, and everybody goes conservative. It is a huge mistake. We need to flip it upside down. Everybody should go ham from 22 to 30 and do a ton of ridiculous shit and figure themselves out. But on your own dime, not your parents.
There's the parents clapping.
So how I think about it is you should go and be rogue and get to know yourself and taste shit from 22 to 30, but you have to live by the ramifications of doing that. And the cost of entry of that is living with 4 people in a studio apartment, eating dog shit food, and not having fancy shit. When you go and do that, but you're being subsidized by your parents, then you're living in a fake environment and you're super fucked.
Tell us about failure and why it's important to fail.
I love it.
Yeah, because you mentioned that you love it.
I love it. I like micro failure. I hate macro failure, like death of your business is bad. But to me, you know what's funny? I'll use a boxing analogy. My favorite boxing, I watch a lot of boxing. I think boxing is a very interesting, and I'm super into mixed martial arts, but I grew up on boxing, I understand it better. And I like watching it because there's so many things that happen in boxing. First of all, what I love about boxing is there's nowhere to hide. You know, like it's super interesting, right? There's nowhere to hide. Number 2, there's a scenario in boxing that I love the most. For some reason, there's nothing more interesting to me than watching somebody get knocked down in the first round and then go on to win the fight easily. It's an interesting psyche, right? And I like that, and this is what I'm thinking about it, which is like, here's what's bad in boxing and in business. Going into a fight, getting knocked the fuck out in the first round and losing the match. Bad. Getting knocked down and then having the adversity to readjust to what you got caught on and navigating it to easily win a fight is remarkable. That's how I think about entrepreneurship. The reason so many people struggle with entrepreneurship is you have micro failures almost daily. And they're very in your face. You can't hide. And I like that. I like failure because I think I deserve it. I hate when people don't respect the game. When I fail, it means I fucked up. And I like that because I think people get audacious. My number one thing that I hate about capitalism is that people use it and they love it and they're big capitalists and they love open market and competition and all that. And then they become 73 and they try to use all their money to protect their money. They're not willing to let a young lion eat them the way they ate somebody else. I hate when they try to manipulate it. That's what I love about sports. What I love about sports is when you're 36 and you were once the best player in the league, but now you're getting a little bit older and your body breaks down, you are forced to retire. The one thing that entrepreneurship and capitalism has to adjust to is once you get old and you're tired and you want to be on a yacht instead of working your shit, you should lose some money because you're losing.
And that part, you know, we bring up so many great entrepreneurs and you're one of them too. You hear all the successes, and I think it gets romanticized a lot, just how ridiculously difficult, stressful, sleepless nights, and I do think you have to experience failure, because you learn just the way the human being is wired. You're going to learn 10x with some failure than you are in some adversity.
I'm actually getting excited here. Or let me frame it up a little bit different. Or you love it so much, that you never were able to do anything else, and just the process of playing the game is the success itself. Or you love it so much that you actually don't give a fuck about the trophies, AKA the money that comes along with it, It's that you just wouldn't know how to breathe otherwise if you weren't in the process of entrepreneurship itself. I will never fail because there is no failure. The at-bat is the macro win. If I lost all my money because I did 37 ridiculously bad decisions and over-leveraged myself, the ability to go back to zero and try to like buy shit at the dollar store and flip it on eBay and build it back up weirdly excites me more than where I am right now. I swear on my children's health.
No kidding.
The thought of going to zero, having all of you judge me as, see, he wasn't as good as you thought, and then rising back like a phoenix and sticking it in your fucking face excites the shit out of me. I believe that right there is the definition of entrepreneurship. It's when you love your game more than what the game gives you. That's why I like losing. The game told me I lost. Respect to the game. That's why I like playing. I did this when, my friends, I was an entrepreneur when there was no conversation around this. In the 80s and 90s school system and society that I grew up in, I was a failure for making $2,000 a weekend selling baseball cards. Like, I did this when it wasn't cool. I'll do it now while it's cool, and I'll do it again in 15 years when it's not cool again because the economy will collapse and because we don't like to be accountable, we like blaming things, and so we're gonna blame entrepreneurship, not the fact that you weren't self-aware and didn't realize that you weren't a fucking entrepreneur. Is right.
It's funny. Last year, Kobe sat right here, and it's almost the exact same thing he said about practice. Like, he loves practice. He loves beating people up in practice, embarrassing people in practice. It's so much about the process, not the result.
100%. 100%. Like, when people ask me what's your failures, I've got none. I found my place. I will do it in perpetuity, and the gratitude that oozes out of my soul is why I put out so much content the way I do, because I'm desperate to give back on something that I realize I was gifted by circumstance, and I feel a level of gratitude and almost a level of guilt and a need to communicate in a framework that so many people in this room did not have the luxury of that North Star or the ability to stumble into their perfect place.
Do you have a personal philosophy that you
Yes.
could share?
I want to give more than I took. Because I want the selfish leverage of that.
Explain what you mean.
I want to give more than I took because I don't want to owe anybody anything. And I want to pay back the gifts that I was naturally given because my parents had sex at the right moment.
So, I've watched you,
I mean, I don't know, like it might have been a big snowstorm in Russia that day and like anything could have happened. I mean this, you know, this is one of my most viral pieces of content. I love that everybody's so into math and big data and quant and have not deployed the level of gratitude around the math of 400 trillion to 1, which is the odds of being a fucking human being. There's nothing you'll ever accomplish that's more remarkable than that you have a chance to accomplish something. If we can lean into gratitude,
there you go.
A lot of good can happen. I don't know, I'm just super grateful, and it is an enormous, there is no Red Bull, there is no fucking soda or coffee that comes anywhere close to gratitude. People think I'm fucking drugged the fuck up. I haven't even smoked a cigarette in my life, because my mom got fucking Nancy Reagan'd, you know, and so I just came to realize, oh shit, this insanity is predicated on gratitude. When you're so grateful for the at-bat, you're happy. But people dwell about dumb shit.
Yeah, the small stuff is so small. And
people are like mad when they get the wrong milk. Like seriously, I go to Starbucks, you know, I travel a lot, you go to Starbucks and like, I asked for almond milk. I'm like, this fucker bought a $7 coffee. Like, it's crazy. The fuck is the matter with people? We need to start some sort of cultural rule that Anybody who's mean to somebody that works at Starbucks should get punched in the throat. Like, it should become a meme. Like, it's the collective responsibility of somebody to punch that person in the face.
We don't condone that here. I like working here, so I just can't even laugh at some of this stuff.
I don't work here. I don't work here. Punch people in the face.
I'm glad you made the point about gratitude. It really is. It really is sort of central to some of the things that we've got Dr. Glenn Fox, who's a specialist in gratitude. By the way, he'll put you in an fMRI machine, stimulate gratitude, stimulate different emotional states, and watch what happens in your brain. And he's an expert on that. It truly is. Better outcomes, better life, better health, better recovery.
I believe in it the most. People's perspective is broken.
I've been watching you just call up friends randomly now and tell them you love them.
It's really nice. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm on tilt on this gratitude thing. Like, people's perspectives are completely broken. And parents, sending your kids to a third world country for 4 days to build a house ain't gonna fucking fix it.
And he calls them verbally stated goals. He says, once I commit to something, I tell everyone I know, because that commits me, and it also opens the world to sort of help me. What's your verbally stated goal?
I'm gonna buy the New York Jets. I'm coming, bro. You're young as fuck, you'll see it. It's 100% gonna happen. Like, I don't even know why it's so obvious to me. Like, I genuinely think back to the world helping. I actually believe, recently I had a weird dream, it was very vivid. The opportunity finally happened, and I was in a great spot. It was like 20 years from now. I was right there, but I wasn't all the way financially there. And then I just, like, everybody knew that the moment was upon us because the Johnson family was selling the Jets. And then the country rallied and go-funded the rest of it. It's funny, I'll make this very USC'd out. Vayner Sports is a sports agency that my brother and I started. It's 3 years old, it's doing extremely well. We have 25 guys we rep. We love football, we're all about it. It is our passion. We had the great fortune of being in the final 3 to get Sam Darnold. So I flew, this is the second year, our company's like 2 seconds old. But because of who I am and because of who Sam is, we were in the mix, legitimately in the mix, much to the like shock of like the sports agency world. So we fly to Sam's house. I fly from family vacation. I remember Sam's dad calls and goes, it's this time, this is the only slot, this is when we're doing it. And I remember like me and AJ working on logistics, and like the only way we could do it was I had to get like a private plane, which I don't like being bougie, but I'm like, fuck it, this is the moment, like, you know? So we get there, and it's like the greatest, and they're the best. I don't know how many of you interacted with Sam at his time here, but like the best dude and all this good stuff. And it gets to the final moment of the pitch, and we're just wrapping up, and I look at Sam and his parents, and I go, Darnold, listen to me and listen to me good. If I had my choice of Sam going with Vayner Sports and going #1 overall to the Browns, and mind you, if Sam had decided to go with Vayner Sports, he didn't, but if he did, it would have changed the trajectory of our company. It would have like been disproportionate leverage, it would have changed everything. I go, if I had my choice of you going to Vayner Sports with us and going #1 overall to the Browns, or you not going with us, but going 3 to the Jets, I'm telling God right now, I want you to go to the Jets. And we were in the green room because we represented Josh Jackson at that draft, and he gets picked, and I'm like, there's this incredible clip of Sam getting drafted and hugging his parents, and me in the background looking like a weird fucking stalker. And like, he gets drafted, and like, I hug his mom like 1 second late, like literally, she just had Sam, and then she turns to me and she hugs me, and she whispers, and she's like, you told God to do it. So yeah, I really think I'm gonna buy the Jets, and I think America's gonna love it.
I hope it happens while Sam's still a quarterback, because
that won't happen.
You got a hell of a player.
That won't happen, only because, you know, I'm a marathon runner. Back to everything I just told you. I will not do short-term behavior. I need another 20 to 25 years, but I will do it. I will retire Sam's number.
How do you know when a business opportunity or venture is worth your time? And when do you say no when so many people would say yes in that situation?
I think too many people overvalue their time when their time is worth nothing. So, this is my favorite one. Like, I love when people are like, yo, is this worth my time? I'm like, well, and it's in a business context. I'm like, well, how much money is your business making? They're like, yo, I don't have one yet. I'm like, well, your time is worth dick zero. So I think people are audacious with their time. They're fancy before they're fancy. So everything's worth your time when you're at zero. You may bail. I'm a big believer of I'm in yes culture. My whole game is yes, comma. I'm not a great person to ask the no thing. I think there's people that are more disciplined at no. I just like the value of yes. And then if I'm a week, an hour, a year in, and I've realized it's not right, I leave. I bail. Because I'm not worried about the loss, because I'm not hearing anybody's opinions. I think you get context. You know, the reason I like starting up and stopping businesses is because I like the context. Like right now, I'm super hot on this thesis that sports trading cards are about to explode again. So I'm spending an ungodly amount of, I spent 4.5 hours looking at qualitative data and quant data on eBay around Giannis rookie cards from Prism graded PSA 10. 4.5 hours. I don't have like 3 minutes for people that are running like $10 million businesses for me. So I like saying yes because I know I'm learning things, and then if I decide it's not worth it, I'll bounce. So a couple things I would tell you is, one, we need less audacity, right? And we need more tasting. And so, and I know when it's time to say no after I've said yes and realized after tasting it, it's no. You know how many people hate oysters but have never had one? That's how I think about that question.
Excellent. So when did you know Wine Library was a great vehicle for entrepreneurship, and did you ever think about quitting?
I knew Wine Library was right because my biggest goal at 18 years old was to go and work for my family business for a decade. I stayed longer to build a massive business for my parents because I loved them so much, and I had to give more than I took. And so they gave me so much, including fucking life itself. And so, you know, it was a brain twist of like, how do I do this? So the biggest thing I'm proud of on earth is that from when I tell kids to be patient, they don't know my narrative a lot of times. I, as a 22-year-old kid, worked for my parents' business for 12 years, every day, every Saturday, gave up my entire social life during my 20s, which is the prime, took my family business from a $3 to a $65 million business, and then left at 34 years old with no money because I never paid myself more than $100,000 a year because I poured all the money back into the business, and I own 0.0% of the business. Because that's what immigrants do. It's a different model, right? Like, it's the family, when a family starts a business, it's the family business, and you don't get the business until the family dies. Like, and I wanted to do other things, so I came, I did my thing, I changed the course of my parents' financial life, the way they changed and created the course of my life, and then I was ready to do my own thing at 34 with nothing. So when people are impatient at 26, I laugh because I only started at 34 for me. Because the first 12 years was for them. And so I knew that was right from the get because that was my mission. A couple things I want to break down in the way you asked it. First of all, everyone, when I talk about patience, I do not talk about complacency. They're two different words. I am patient, but I'm obnoxiously ambitious, and I go hard every day. So it's a balance thing, Carlos, you know what I mean? Look, I think perseverance and grit and all those things are gonna matter for you if you wanna break through, right? But, what's the mentality? The mentality is, you are young. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you can be mad at me, but like, you are. Are you as young as someone who's 18? No, but I'm fucking 48. And don't forget, bro, real talk, I worked in a liquor store when I was 34. I love when kids roll up on me and being like, yo, I'm late. I'm like, late to what? I started this company, in another company's conference room because I had no money. VaynerMedia started in Buddy Media's conference room for a year. And then we moved to Sunshine Suites down in Desbrosses, down in Tribeca, and I bartered that rent by giving him services and like trying to do stuff for the owner. We didn't pay rent the first 2 years, not because I'm crafty, because we didn't have money. And that was when I was 35 and 36, Carlos. So what the fuck do you think I'm gonna tell you? You know?
Already, you said it like straightforward and blunt, which I appreciate actually, because at the end of the day, I've been trying to, like with this program, that's what I've been taking advantage of, like just pressing the gas pedal and just not caring what people think. But just after, like you want to think about also like what's after the program. Like you said,
yeah,
I'm
of course.
As a bridge to my next step. Hopefully, if I can
Carlos, if I'm you, you know I have juice in culture and sports. If I'm you, I just DM every single sports business on earth on LinkedIn and be like, yo, I just came from Vayner. I stole all the secrets. Hire me.
Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Let's go to Andrew.
The question's a little more broad, but if you hoped that a Vayner employee, whether it's just like the residency, someone here for 10 weeks or someone here for like 8 years, what is like the one thing you hope that they got out of it?
That's a great question. That they contextualized that you don't have to work somewhere where you don't feel good. You know, my favorite thing about Vayner is it's shown people either in the beginning or when they're deeper in their career that there's a way to go hard but not be in an environment that makes you unhappy or anxious. I mean, that's the biggest thing, Andrew, that I want. I think the other thing is we're very good at contemporary marketing. You know, like I want them to learn skills. A lot of people here learn skills. I'm very aware. I very much believe that a lot of you will learn more in these 10 weeks than you learned in 4 years of college. Because this is real shit.
Totally.
And it's not only real shit, it's the real current shit. A lot of you have friends that work at other ad agencies that aren't learning real shit. They work at PR firms. The fuck? You know? So, those are the things that stand out, brother. If I took 22-year-old me, actually, I would say to him, bro, you're right about almost everything, but you have one huge piece of kryptonite, and it's a flaw, and it's gonna fuck you up, and it's called your inability to be candorous to people because you like them too much. You're so gifted verbally, and you're so capable of creating money in the future. You're gonna be able to get away with not being candorous-ish. It's gonna work 95% of the time. The problem is the 5% of the time is gonna fuck you up personally and professionally. So you might as well fix it now, because waiting to 45 like you're actually going to do to start getting better at it left you with 23 years of a lot of pain that you didn't need to have, and all you had to do was be a little bit more courageous and understanding you're not Superman and you can't fix everyone, and people have to learn their own lessons, and there's a kind way to deliver that. That's what I needed, right, Alex? I don't know what you need. You know, I think a lot of professionals, a lot of you in this call, what you really need is what I've been trying to lay down in the first 30 minutes. One, do not let any company or any person dictate to you your self-worth. Two, fight for scenarios that you like going to work. If you hate Monday, that's bad. Like, you can't hate Monday, everyone. Like, you can like, again, because this is where things are subtle. You should learn how to get comfortable with discomfort, but that's different than hate. Don't get entitled to be like, 25-minute commute, this blows. That's some bullshit. I'm talking about you're anxious because your boss is a piece of shit. You can't hate Monday. And really, Alex, like, real talk, work and life is a very simple game of self-esteem versus insecurity. I think people need to build their confidence at all costs.
Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
Alex, what do you think is like your biggest vulnerability potentially?
Probably that I can be a perfectionist. So I'm always trying to do everything right all the time.
Yeah, that's a good,
I'm my worst enemy.
Yeah, I almost like want you to like do something wrong on purpose just to taste it. Alex, no bullshit. I make like 17 meaningful mistakes a day. The end. Like, you gotta get comfortable with making mistakes. Otherwise, you'll always be lower middle management.
100%.
That's just fear, that's insecurity. Like, perfectionist and People that say I'm a perfectionist or people say that they have imposter syndrome are just putting makeup on saying I'm insecure. So that's okay. We're all insecure. That goes back to like, were you a good student?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just got caught in that system where it's like, and that's not real life. So start practice.
Like external pressure.
Correct. Just start practicing now. Like honestly, you've got to practice in like sending it in without your normal 6 more hours of fucking looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Is there a way that you go about it that makes it a little bit easier to not get attached to like your ideas and that kind of vibe?
By recognizing that humility is the single most important trait for a leader besides conviction, and that if I get stuck on my own shit, that the world of merit doesn't care about my feelings. I'm just completely detached because I don't get to choose. I don't have the insecurity or delusion to think that I get to vote. The reality of the situation is the vote. And so, how do I get there? By knowing that if I don't, I'll be out of business.
Yes, I like that. I also enjoy, because like that kind of connects to some of the maybe thoughts in regard to like allowing other people to like listen to their perspective first and allowing them to give their perspective first and then you put your perspective second. But yeah, thank you so much. It's one quick question. I know that gratitude is also like really important to you. Any practices that you practice like on a daily basis for gratitude?
I basically have a conversation every day of my life with myself in that I can't believe I'm lucky enough that here is another day that my parents, siblings, or children didn't die. Pretty much every day, Diana. And so I think I've gone to the ultimate state of gratitude. Because of that, I stress and I have anxiety like any human, but it's so different than most people. I just don't dwell on shit. I can't sit on shit because whatever I'm upset about is so disproportionately secondary to what I just said to you. And I think that most of the people on this call right now take that part for granted. I'm not sure it's so healthy that I think, it was really challenging as a kid because I thought about it my whole life. I'm not sure it started in a healthy place, but I think it ended up in the healthiest place, which is really interesting. I believe that if I was a modern child, that my parents probably would have taken me to therapy because it was such a big thing in my life. I was petrified of my parents dying. Because both my parents lost a parent very young, I've come to realize. My mom lost her mom at 5. My dad lost his dad at 15, 16. So it was just always in the air. And I think I internalized it. I loved my mom so much. And then later I got to spend more time with my dad and I love him so much. And I think that it started off not healthy and ended up making me completely unstoppable. It's pretty interesting to think about.